For the past couple of years, Evergrande has consistently been in the news, but for all the wrong reasons. Despite being one of the biggest real estate developers in China, they are the most indebted company in the world, with over $300 billion in liabilities. Even with that amount of debt, everyone was thinking that Evergrande was too big to fail. Failing everyone's expectations, Evergrande filed for bankruptcy in 2023, and after years of litigation in a Hong Kong court, the judge finally said, "Enough is enough," and ordered them to liquidate and start paying people back. So welcome to the Daily Dollar, where today we will see the trillion-dollar impact of Evergrande's liquidation and what will happen if China goes against its own policies to bail them out. If you enjoy videos like these, please show your support by liking and subscribing. It's absolutely free for you and means a lot to me. The recent court order of liquidation was issued in Hong Kong by Judge Linda Chan. This was a result of the case filed in 2022 by Topshine Global, a creditor of Evergrande. The case dragged on for a bit as both companies tried to negotiate a deal. But given that it was well over a year and there was still no viable restructuring plan, the court had had enough and made the decision for them. The important detail in this recent judgment is that the court is located in Hong Kong. Evergrande as a company is absolutely massive. About 90% of its assets are not in Hong Kong. They are actually in mainland China. So, since this case was filed, there was always the question of what would happen when the 10% of the company assets in Hong Kong are not enough to cover the debt owed. Surprisingly, alongside this judgment, we also got the announcement from the Supreme Court of China and Hong Kong's Department of Justice saying that they have signed an agreement that will recognize and enforce the judgment in both Hong Kong and mainland China. This exposes all the holdings Evergrande has in mainland China to this recent liquidation judgment, which drastically increases the impact of this judgment. Because now Evergrande is in a position where trying to pay off their debt using the 10% in Hong Kong might start the chain reaction of selling off assets and closing projects till there is nothing left. But despite the court decision, there isn't much to pay back from. Sure, the debt is worth $300 billion, but experts analyze that only 3 to 3.5% of what's owed could realistically be recovered after the liquidation. And to get even that 3%, one of the biggest developers in the world will have to entirely shut down. So, here people can argue that Evergrande is too big to fail, but what does that even mean? To understand that, we have to look at the consequences of Evergrande shutting down. Firstly, Evergrande builds new housing. That's why they employ an army of people amounting to over 125,000. They all will lose their jobs. Secondly, the company buys building materials worth billions of dollars from local and international suppliers. All these suppliers will lose this massive part of their business. At this scale, even the demand for things like iron ore could be impacted in the mines in Australia that export to these Chinese suppliers. Thirdly, the company has borrowed billions from unregulated shadow banks because they were able to get enough funding from the Bank of China. These shadow banks are on the hook to lose billions. On top of all that, it is estimated that more than 1 million people are waiting for Evergrande to complete the construction of their homes. All those people will end up losing their deposits to Evergrande's other creditors. Finally, in a balanced market, you would hope that the fall of one company, like Evergrande, will create opportunities for its competitors, but they are more of the same. Other big developers in the country, like Country Garden and Sunac, are both now in default for $15 and $10 billion respectively. This real estate industry, which makes up over 30% of China's GDP, is filled with bad apples like these, who are all now being made to shut down and pay people back. And all of this is happening at the worst time for China, where their economy is going through some of the worst years since 1990. As a solution to all this, in early 2023, in the hopes of increasing confidence in the market, China planned to relax the rules a bit. They started allowing higher leverage and increasing the loan repayment grace period, giving companies more time to meet their debt payments. But that failed miserably when the sales dropped by 16.5% in 2023. Given the scale of Evergrande, and how its liquidation will cause losses to banks and impact the real estate industry as a whole. At this point, China is left with no other option but to bail them out. China doesn't like bailing out private companies, as the government doesn't trust in something they don't completely have control over. But a bailout is vital, as it will be a quicker solution to this problem, rather than the slow decline costing them nearly $1 trillion. It will also help rebuild the public's confidence in real estate and the country's economy, and help China save face globally. Evergrande does have the ability to appeal this decision, but I doubt that would do anything but delay the inevitable. If you are watching the video till now, I think you will enjoy these videos as well. Thanks for watching.